Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm going to reveal my plans for double game week 25. I'll have a special focus on the latest worst defences. This is especially useful for me due to yet another in my weekly bench sagas. Which player will get me a double-digit haul on my bench this week? Hopefully that table will help me find out. A big name is certainly going to miss out for me, but which one? Do press that like button, does help us out, and do remember to subscribe. You can be up to date with our latest videos and podcasts wherever you receive them. So what I'll do is have a look briefly back at my Gameweek 24. Now I'm recording this on Wednesday afternoon ahead of the Merseyside derby, the final game in this never-ending double game week. So by the time you watch this, you'll have much more information. You'll know how many more points I've got on top of my current score. I hope it's a lot more, but it might be just a couple more. I'll also look at my fixture plans. I did reveal some around my chip strategy and plans around that in my last video, which you can have a look at. It's on the YouTube video channel. Also, the podcast there, it's a chip strategy. So it's my chip strategy video and podcast there. But this one really focusing much more on double game week 25. I've also been doing some videos this week with Tom Freeman and FPL General. Also, the Goals Imminent show with Mark Joblin. That's a podcast. And so that contains lots more about sort of potential targets for people. And in particular with Tom Freeman's one about Villa assets to bring in. Okay, let's have a look and see how I'm getting on so far. So this has been quite nice in this never-ending game week. I've got 100 points exactly on the nose. So it's nice to look at a green arrow and 100 points for a long period of time. I hope we're not getting a terrible score on red arrow. The game week only lasts a couple of days. Anyway, so as I think the main change from last week is Palmer. Palmer's got me 6 points, so I've gone up to 100 there. Chris Wood, hat-trick, brilliant. Gakpo, surprise assist, fantastic. Mikolenko and Pickford have got me returns. I brought Moyes in as my assistant manager chip. Do look at my last week's video, my explanation about that. I just saw it as an opportunity. And if you can get anything against Liverpool, that would be great. And I think that's what the chip's about, really. You've got to go for that table bonus where you can. So you can't get it all the time, but you've got to go for it where you can. On my taking their turn to get points on my bench, Robinson's assist and Henderson's clean sheet, but Pickford scored more, and to be honest, Robinson, I wouldn't have played him anyway. Howson as well, and Dango on my bench. Will they be in my Game Week 25 side? We'll find out in a bit. Okay, as I said, if you can see my squad here, a lot of players have very favourable fixtures there. Brian Mbeumo is away to West Ham. We've got Rodgers, got a double game week. Got Chris Wood away to Fulham. Isak away to Man City. You can't keep clean sheets at the moment. You've got Dango, who's on my bench, game week 24, but he's got Southampton. So all of these are contenders to be benched. One of them has to be benched. I'm not going to bench Salah. I'm not going to bench Palmer. He got 4 goals against Brighton last time out. So I'm not going to bench Gakpo and Rodgers. They've got doubles. So someone's going to miss out. So I need a bit of help with that. So I've consulted the Fantasy Football Scout members area to look at the worst defences. So I've highlighted the ones, players that I might consider benching to help me out a bit. So Dango plays Southampton. Brian Mbeumo plays West Ham. Isak plays Man City. And Chris Wood plays Fulham, all away as well. So I did the worst defences all matches. I also did do this table by home matches only, and also last 6 to see who the most recent ones were. It's very similar. It's very similar for all of them. The teams that are the worst defences continue to be in all those metrics. The best ones continue to be, and the middling ones continue to be. So there's no real change here. So you can take this as the latest as well. So this shows that Southampton are the worst. Am I going to bench Dango against that? No. Dango Utara is in my team. He's going to have to be, because he's playing one of the worst sides. So Southampton, minutes per expected goal conceded, every 40 minutes. They conceded a whopping 54 goals and they've only kept 2 clean sheets. So I can't bench an attacking player. He's playing number 9 for an attacking side against that. Ipswich are the second worst. that's fine. Doesn't affect my personal views, but that might affect what you're looking at here. So Ipswich play Aston Villa. Actually, that does affect my team because I've got Rodgers and I might get Emery in. So okay, that would be good. So we want a really bad side. So this does say get some kind of Aston Villa attacking coverage if you can. Leicester, we know they're bad as well. Arsenal face there, but Arsenal have got their own problems up top. Havertz looks like he's out for the rest of the season. So who will play up top? Probably be Trossard. It's not ideal though. So anyway, they play Leicester, so there could be some goals there, but who is going to score them? Leicester, minutes per expected goals conceded every 49 minutes, Ipswich every 47 minutes. West Ham are the fourth worst. Do I bench Brian Mbeumo? Well, in the goals imminent show, Brian Mbeumo and Wissa are both on the goals imminent table. So I'd be very reluctant to bench Brian Mbeumo on penalties. Got strong assist potential, goal scoring potential, fourth worst side in terms of fourth worst defence. I know they've got Graham Potter in now. I know they've changed a bit, but it's broadly the same personnel in defence and midfield. So yeah, they're poor. So I'm going to play Brian Mbeumo here. Tottenham also poor. Every 56 minutes they're conceding an expected goal. Brentford themselves every 57 minutes, which is good if you want to go for Bowen, for example. Meanwhile, Man City. So do I bench Isak? Well, Man City do have 5 clean sheets, but their minutes per expected goal conceded is 66 minutes. So they are still conceding a lot of chances there. That's on average. That was broadly similar for last 6 and home matches as well. So they haven't got spectacularly better, and they're not particularly better or worse according to the expected stats away from home. Not significantly, put it that way. Obviously, people are going to say in the live chat saying, "Wait a minute, they're not the 10th worst, they're the 11th best or something." I don't know, but I think that says I've got to play Isak there. They've conceded 35 goals. Fulham have conceded 32 goals, but their minutes per expected goal conceded is every 84 minutes. That's broadly similar to how they are at home only and the last 6. So that says to me that currently Chris Wood is going to have to be benched, because now people will think that's crazy. When I show you my team, that's crazy. Why would you bench Chris Wood? He's just got a hat-trick. He's had a nice rest in the cup, only came on for the last bit against Exeter. Looked lively, but it was only Exeter. He's a great player. But yeah, okay. Well, do I bench Brian Mbeumo? Do I bench Dango? Do I bench Palmer, Salah, Gakpo? You've got to take, when you've got the way I'm playing with a strong bench, not necessarily for a bench boost, but just so to save me transfers. So I've got 2 free transfers at the moment. I want to save those, not save those transfers, but I want to not have to use unnecessary transfers defensively, saying, oh, so-and-so's injured, they're my only, I've definitely got to play them, so I've got to get a better player in. If a player gets injured, say, for example, tonight, if Gakpo gets injured, for example, Salah, it actually doesn't bother me. I can just park them on the bench because I've already got, a good player in my first sub. That's the way I've been playing. It's the way when you've been watching and listening to these videos, every week I'm getting big bench scores, but at the same time, I'm getting green arrows recently, so it's paying off a little bit. So I'm up to 116k, and I was 270k 2 or 3 weeks ago. So going in the right direction, fingers crossed it can last that way. I'm going to have to stomach some bench points in the meantime. And just for the sake of those like watching and listening, looking at their own teams, well, Liverpool, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest themselves are the best defences, and 4th place is Fulham, as I said. Newcastle pretty strong defensively as well, and just a reminder, Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester, West Ham, they're the worst, and Tottenham just behind them as well. Tottenham do have 5 clean sheets, but they've conceded 37 goals. Okay, let's have a look at my team. So this explains a bit more when I was doing this video, I basically didn't want to entirely focus on my dilemma, although that is completely shapes my week, who's going to be on the bench. But at the same time, hopefully looking at those worst and best defences, that will help you out with whatever decisions you're making as well. So I've got a picture of Emery here. I think that's quite old, this picture, because his hair is quite dark. He's quite an old picture of Emery there, but he's given a big thumbs up because I've got Moyes as my assistant manager. I'm going to make that switch. Moyes is 0.5, I think, and Emery's 0.8, I think. But anyway, I've got 0.5 in the bank. I can just make that switch, no problem. I've got 2 free transfers, so that will keep. I'm going to keep another transfer in the bank. So I'll go into next week with 2 free transfers. And I'm looking to save. So I'll look at my game weeks coming up, my plans for the game weeks coming up, and I've got a big block that says hold until that blank in game week 29. I'm going to hope to navigate that using transfers, and I won't need a free hit. Explain more about that in my video and podcast from last week, looking at my chip strategy. I do lots on 29 there because it's a real consideration. Do you free hit or not? Okay, so I'm going into this with Henderson over Pickford. So they play each other. Just got to go for the home guy, and I think they've both been really strong ever since I switched away from Verbruggen and Flecken to Henderson and Pickford. I feel a bit more relaxed now because I've got 2 goalkeepers who are actually really good, and I might get some bench points. But I think they're pretty strong. They've got strong fixtures as well. Howson comes into my team. Away to Southampton. Got to play him. Gabriel away to Leicester. Yeah, Alexander-Arnold should be fit. I mean, you'll know more after Merseyside derby. I think he may start on the bench for that one. I feel confident seeing him training this week that he'll play and start both matches in the double, especially that Wolves game. Palmer away to Brighton. Anything could happen there. He looked lively against Brighton, despite Chelsea losing. And, of course, he scored 4 goals last time out. So, yeah, definitely playing him. Salah, my captain, has to be. He'll be about 200% owned, and he's got Wolves at home. So, and Aston Villa away, that's tough, but Wolves at home is strong. Rodgers, he's looked great, and I think if you don't own Rodgers, he would be a top target, I think, for this week. With Ipswich at home and Liverpool at home, there's that strong potential there for an upset against Liverpool because it's a home game. They do play well against the big teams. Dango comes into my side once again. He has to, really. Away to Southampton. I only got him in last week as a make weight. Well, not quite true only. I got him in as a make weight so I could afford to get Moyes. I had nothing in the bank, really. I needed to free up some money from Sarr. So I went down to Dango. That freed up enough money for me to get Moyes. And I knew I'd want Dango at some point. I actually planned to get him in sort of game week 27 or 26 because I knew I would have this headache. But I thought, well, I'm used to bench points. I might as well get him in early. So he's away to Southampton. He's got to come in. Brian Mbeumo away to West Ham. Once again, I think I've got to play him. Too many routes to points there. Isak away to Man City. Isak, Newcastle, top form. Man City, poor. I say poor, not as good as we think they should be. Gakpo's got a double like Rodgers. So I'll be going into this with Salah, Alexander-Arnold, Gakpo and Rodgers all having a double there. So I don't want to do more. I could do Isak to Watkins could be tempting, but Watkins injury doubt. And also I think I want Isak. I'm not sure I want Watkins. They've got options up front. Marlon, Rashford as well. So, yeah, on my bench, got Moyes. Well, not on my bench, but, my assistant manager is Moyes. I'm going to switch him to Emery. I think that's what it's all about, really. He's got that Ipswich game. Like with Moyes, with the Leicester game and the tough game against Liverpool, it's the chance of table bonus, but a sort of a banker game. And I would hope it's a banker game against Ipswich. I hope Ipswich don't overturn them. And then, I could get a table bonus against Liverpool. So I'd be hopeful there. So yeah, I think with the system manager chip, that's what it's all about, really, going for that. So Emery didn't get table bonus against Leicester. Moyes didn't get table bonus against Leicester and got me 12 points. So that's sort of your ceiling, and that was 4-0. So that's as good as it gets. But if there's a table bonus, you could be looking at 19, 20 points. So that's what you're going for there, and I think you have to with that chip. It might not work out, but I think it's sort of a Dullardino approach, sort of one dull, one a bit more risky. Anyway, Pickford on my bench. This means that Chris Wood's got to be on my bench away to Fulham pretty much all week. Isak's been there at some point. Mbeumo, Dango, Chris Wood. Which one do you bench? So I've got to go for the opposition. I've got to go for multiple routes to points. Chris Wood has got a couple of assists, but it's more your goals there. I think Dango hasn't got penalties, but it's away to Southampton. He's playing up front for Bournemouth. It's Chris Wood, so hope it's just a goal. I could stomach a brace hat-trick again, back-to-back hat-trick. I just don't think the way Brighton set up, their midfield was very poor. I don't think Fulham's midfield is as poor as that, and it's a home game as well. I just can't see that. I've got Robinson for Fulham, who plays Nottingham Forest, on the bench as well. It's between him and Howson, really. If Alexander-Arnold's not fit for this double, which he will be, I'm quite happy for Robinson to come in. That's the thing about having the bench. And Mikalenko away to Crystal Palace. I think you've got to go for the home side. I mean, that could be, a lot of people say, oh, that'd be a good bench boost side. So I posted this on social media. Why don't you bench boost? Well, obviously I can't because I've got the system manager chip, but ordinarily, even if I didn't, this is what I have every week. I have this decision every week. It's either Rodgers on my bench or Dango or Brian Mbeumo, whoever. I'm going to get bench points somewhere, and these defenders are good as well. So anyway, that's my situation at the moment. 2 free transfers, 0.5 million in the bank. I got enough to go Moyes to Emery. I think I'm just going to settle with that, really, and just go into this with the doublers that I've got, and then try and hold. So let's have a look at the fixtures. Have a look at my sort of future plans. So I talked about this in a bit more detail in my last video, but it's sort of changed slightly because we know what's happening with Gameweek 25. We know it's just Liverpool and Aston Villa that double with their fixtures there. We also know that they're going to blank. We also know that Crystal Palace and Newcastle will blank. But Crystal Palace have strong fixtures in and around that blank. Newcastle, bad fixtures at the moment, but it's so I'm okay with Isak. I haven't got Gordon or Hall. I think if you have Gordon or Hall, I'd probably look to move them on. The fixtures are quite poor, but they do improve much after Game Week 29. And they have a double coming up as well. So Game Week 33, you would imagine if they progress further, they could have the blank in 34 and then have another double in 36. So they could be a real key team. So I probably want to keep hold of Isak. I want him back at some point. So Game Week 25, Emery, assistant manager, bench problems I've got there. So that may change. At the moment is Chris Wood. Have your own views and leave them in the comments below. But be aware that if you say you can't bench Chris Wood, you have to come up with an alternative and tell me why I should bench that other player instead, because I can't find one at the moment. Hold, Game Week 26, 27 and 28. I've got a big hold there. With my squad at the moment, I've got a lot of Bournemouth coverage, and I feel, already I'm struggling a bit. Probably Game Week 26, 27... Rodgers might get the nod to be benched, and I think I've just played Dango all the time, so it could be Rodgers my first sub, so I'll look forward to his points on my bench. Game Week 29, so I'm going into Game Week 26 with 2 free transfers, hopefully 27 with 3, 28, 4 maybe. I might use one there, but any transfers I make there will be with Game Week 29 and a bit further in mind. So these are my transfer targets. Gakpo, quite happy to keep. Does have Southampton Game Week 28. Blanks in 29. Happy to move him on. Cunha, I've got my eye on. Marmoush, I think, is actually down as an attacker. Could go for him for City. I don't think I'm going to go for Haaland. That would involve moving one of Palmer, Salah, and Isak, who I'm going to want later on. So, and I think a rule of thumb with me very much is if you're really only getting a player in for 1 week, they're probably not worth getting in. There's better players. And there are other players that will do well. So I trust Cunha more than I do Haaland at the moment. So Cunha's one. He's definitely an option. For Alexander-Arnold, I could go for Guardiola. It frees up a little bit of money, and I'm going to get some money back from my assistant manager chip. That's the other thing about using it. I'm going to get 0.8, whatever it is, back in the bank suddenly. And Morgan Rodgers, I think I can let him go. So he's got... Brighton, Nottingham Forest, does have Southampton Game Week 32. So there's some fixtures I could play him in, like him, but those Bournemouth midfielders, he definitely plays in Game Week 29. So Kluivert could come in alongside Dango, really stack up. That would triple up on Bournemouth. So I'm already on double Bournemouth, so I'll triple up there. Another option is Amad Diallo for Manchester United. I want to see a bit more Manchester United. I like him, though, and he's away to Leicester, so it's a nice, good fixture. Leicester and Southampton are the teams you want to target. I'll be keen for that. But the fixtures afterwards aren't that good, so he'd be like a temporary move. Then game weeks 30, 31 or 32, hopefully game week 32. because I want to leave it as late as possible. I'm going to wildcard. So I'm going to wildcard with a view to bench boost in Game Week 33. So Game Week 32 will give me maximum, well, not maximum, but it will give me a lot of information, much more than I would have in Game Week 30. And so I can maximise that bench boost and sort of prepare really for 34 and 36. So then that will leave me with just a free hit left. Now I could use it in 34. That would be handy. Usually the teams that double in 33, if they're progressing through the cups, they will also double in 36 or possibly 37. So ideally you want those players, and then Game Week 34 is the outlier when they miss fixtures. So you need something to cope with that. So I don't mind that, but looks like Salah might be playing then. So you want a fixture like Game Week 29 where you can ideally remove him for a week and spread his money. But I'll see what it goes. So I'm quite flexible with this. So my free hit could be in Game Week 34. Or if I get to Game Week 34 and I look at my team like I'm looking at my team now and thinking, oh my God, I'm having to bench these good players anyway, or I'm actually fine, I've got 11 good players and a captain, then why would I use the free hit? I'd just keep it, just ride it out. I've got the key players, and then I would use it in Game Week 36. So whatever doubles there are there, or around that time, I think, well, I could just really max out on those doubles there. And that could be advantageous. So yeah, I'll know by the time I bench boost in Game Week 33 or wildcard in 32. I'll know sort of well after the free hit free hit for some people in Game Week 29, or non-free hit in my case. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at so far. So I'm quite flexible and open. I'm not quite rigid there, but I'm fairly certain. I'm 99.9% certain I'm not free hitting in 29. Absolutely no need. Because already when I looked at it, if I've got 3 players to remove, those 3 there. So Gakpo, Alexander-Arnold and Rodgers. And that still leaves me with Mikalenko on the bench because I don't particularly want to double up on Everton defence. So I've still got a bench player then. So I'm okay with that. Okay, that's best laid plans. Will they come to fruition? I hope so. Okay, I hope that's been of help. It's certainly helped me a bit to look at some of those bench decisions, but also look at those worst defences as well. Take care. Good luck with the rest of Double Game Week 24, which you'll be watching after it's finished. And good luck ahead of Game Week 25. Plenty more videos and podcasts and content from Fantasy Football Scout. Do check that out, fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. Thanks for your time. Cheers. Bye now.